This is WFO Radio.
WFO, we are back. We are now back. Winners, it has been crazy what's going on. Connecting with Tim Wilkerson and Erica. Erica is going to be on this show. Tim Wilkerson going to be on this show. That is what we believe. And so here we go again. WFO at a special time, mid-afternoon, as we get ready for our next NHRA national event out there at the Grove, Maple Grove, baby, following up the Dodge SRT US Nationals. Let me tell you about the people who make it possible for me to do WFO radio. And I say their names all the time, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com, talking about Hartford, the team over there. They do so many piston rings and so many of the high-end runners out there at the NHRA, but not just that, Formula One, IndyCar, World of Outlaws, every style of racing you can imagine, TotalSeal.com. Also, samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed, and they have blockhead CNC programs if you want to become a crew member, a machinist, by all means, go to samtech.edu. Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. Hot sauces, spice rubs, everything good. Marvin Rodak is the guy, man. He is the guy. He is doing a great job with his roasted fresh per your order coffee. That is what I'm talking about. Marvin Rodak, amazing stuff. And finally, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. And you can drive a dragster. Come on, what's better than that? And of course, our friends at Torque Calibration Services. And I start to see some people out there on the lines. I'm going to text Tim to call now, and we'll see if he can do what he's going to do. Call now if you can. There it is. And one thing I'm not the best at is composing a text message and also talking and controlling the show at the same time. As much as I try, I cannot separate those two thoughts into the same thing. There's some people. Hey, Joe, can't wait for Erica. Yeah, Erica's out there. She's ready to go right now. The problem is I would have them both on the same time, but since Tim is going to do old school landline phone, like he's at a rotary, payphone somewhere out there in the Midwest, right? They won't be able to hear each other. It's not guaranteed. So we're going to try to get Wilk in as soon as is possible. And then we're going to have E on, and that'll be great, unless it all falls apart, which is possible also. Beautiful job, Mr. Wilkerson, in the right lane. Everybody's super excited about Wilk. If you saw me on with Reinhardt a little bit earlier, talked about the Caps post on social media, and it was really great, but the mutual admiration between Caps and Wilkerson and Wilk and so many of the others out there. Oh, there's E. There's Erica. Let's just bring Erica on. Let's bring her on because she's Erica. What's up, E? How are you? Congratulations. Oh. Do you have me?
Hey there.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you, but you don't hear me, do you?
I hear you.
Oh, good. Yay. So here's the deal. Let me get you up to speed. This is so much easier than texting back and forth. Obviously, we're all traveling tomorrow, so it's a miracle that we even have you on the show. Thank you for coming on such extreme short notice. Wilkerson is like driving all over trying to find a Mustang funny car body to run this weekend. He's going to call in on the phone. And if he calls in, I doubt you'll be able to hear him. Maybe you will, but if he calls in, we'll just keep you on. If you can't hear him, I'll put you down in the ready room and then bring you back after his 5-minute hit. Does that work for you?
Sounds good.
Let's talk about you winning the Big Go for the second time back-to-back. Boy, that is a big stat for your career. Back-to-back U.S. Nationals. Not a lot of people get that.
It was definitely an awesome weekend. It wasn't a pretty fashion to win in, but we will definitely take it as we've been on the wrong side of win lights a lot before. Crazy to win back-to-back at Indy. Our third final round in 3 years. We lost that heartbreaking final in 2019, but we're able to come back and win in 20 and 21. So just huge, and especially that Indy's 1.5 and more money in the last regular season race before we head to the countdown. One race down out of 4 in a row, so we've got a lot of things going on right now.
I didn't even I put out of my memory the final round with Alex Laughlin because I remember how heartbreaking it was just to watch, right? That's not how you want to see anybody lose anything. like winning and off the starting line and 00 light and car length and a half. And then all of a sudden, some sort of crazy parts failure, et cetera, and so on. Oh, here's Wilkerson. Let's see if you can hear him. Who's out there on the WFO line? Who's out there?
It's Wilkerson.
It's Wilkerson. Erica, can you hear Wilkerson? Erica cannot hear Wilkerson. Okay, so Erica, I'm going to put you down in the ready room. We're going to continue. Erica, please stand by. Wilkerson is chasing down a body. We're going to dive right back into that. How disrespectful what I just did to a pro stock champ, Wilk. But your Warriors, they want to hear from you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, talk to Erica. She's the coolest.
Well, she is the coolest, but she can't hear you talking. And so that would have been confusing. So we've got you on the phone line, and I'll try to patch it up with Erica as best as I can. But
go ahead if you want to do her first.
You just said this is live stuff right now. We're live. So I've made the call to talk to you for about 5 minutes. Have you located a new funny car body for your Mustang?
They're actually trying to repair the one that I run into when I hit cruise. So I think they can get that done.
That was shocking that you only have one body.
Yeah. Yep. That's sad.
But okay, but how is that possible, Wilk? Like, how is it possible? You're one of the, you've won races, you won the U.S. Nationals, Ford Mustang. Here you go. You're going to the countdown. You might need some help here.
Yeah, no, Ford's on it. You just can't, you can't build that stuff that quick. It's a problem. They're, Roush's, where the bodies come from, they're crazy busy. So, I mean, I get it. They're doing the best they can do. And Ford's committed to helping, though. He told me that. I don't know. We're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I can tell you that right now. We got two of them that are tore up and trying to make one out of both of them.
Well, I can imagine what that's like. And that's why you're taking 5 minutes out to talk to the WFO universe. And let's talk about that final round against Capps. Did you see Ron Capps' post about it? He was so, he said you astonished him by being able to get down that right lane in a 391.
Well, I appreciate that. Very nice of him. You just do the best you can do when you're running your car. And like I told you in the press room, I've been bit by that before. And, to say that we knew we could go up there and run that, my wife asked me, she goes, God, they went 90 flat and you just went 98. What are we going to do? And I said, well, obviously we're going to have to go faster than that. Right? She's
yeah.
Like, well, what do you think? I said, I bet we could go 92. You really think you can go 92? I said, oh, yeah, I think we can.
And you did. And you won Indy
lucky
for the second time. But
yeah.
A welcome win, though. 9 final rounds in a row. Was that like eating at your mind? Or 9 runner-ups?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I was irritated with that. Because it used to be if I went into the finals, it was almost a sure thing. I won more than I lost for the longest time. So when I couldn't win, I was starting to get a little irritated with myself. So, but I don't know. Part of it. What are you going to do?
Right. It is what it is. But now you won, and you won the biggest race in the world, and it's Indy for the second time, and a big deal. Looking at the point standings, though, you're going into the countdown 9th, but you told me you feel confident. Like, you guys feel good, and this is obviously a confidence builder, winning the race.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I that countdown owes me one, so maybe this will be the year that it pays me back. I hope that we got a good car, and we've had a good car for the last couple of 3 races. We just had a terrible Pomona. I could not make that place work, no matter what I did. And so hopefully, we can get that kind of performance behind us and go on with doing some good.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing to me is that you're a driver, tuner, team owner. You wear all the hats. We know how challenging and difficult that is, and for you to be doing it and having the success that you're having, and now this breakthrough, the monkey off the back that you spoke of, I'm excited for what lies ahead for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I am too, to tell you the truth. I really think that we got something for them, and I think we kind of showed that this last weekend, so, and with any luck, that will continue to give us some dividends, right? I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that and I don't blame them that the Napa team went up there and said, well, there's not a mid 90 in that lane. So if we just do our job, and we know Capps is going to do his job, I mean, they might as well just put our name on the trophy. So we had nothing to lose.
And it's stuck. And it's stuck. It's stuck. All right, Wilk, listen, here's the thing. You're going to have to win again during the countdown because I want to let you go and work on your car so you can go to Maple Grove and continue this momentum. So I'm not going to keep you for a long time. Is there anything you want to say to your fans out there?
No, just that, appreciate all the support, man. I mean, I had 300 and some text messages before I even got back to the trailer. So that was really nice of people. And like I said, I think people appreciate the underdog. Force even came over and told my guys, I don't know if you guys know how cool that was. And I know you know it was cool because you won, but for what happened there, that run should be talked about for the longest time. And I thought that was nice of old Force to say that.
Yes. And he's right. He's right. Like, I didn't want to say that we had counted you out, but we didn't expect it to go that way. But to uncork at 91.
No, nobody did.
Nobody did. Which that's why we run these races. That's why we run these. And Richard Hartman was so happy. They were like everybody, all your guys, they were so happy and you guys delivered and it was great. But there's racing this weekend, Maple Grove. Are you ready for it?
Yep. No, oh God, yeah. We believe it or not, I left the shop last night at 8:45. So, and we left the shop on Monday at 8:30. So we were putting in what Wilkerson calls half days.
I get you.
The guys, we have kids come up to the ropes and, hey, how do you work on that? I said, hell, it's an easy job. Really? I said, yeah, we work half days. Really? I said, yeah, 9 to 9, 10 to 10, 8 to 8. What? So we just run 2 Wilkerson half days in a row. So my boys are pretty tuckered, but we'll see how it goes.
Tim, thank you for calling in WFO Radio. Really appreciate you. Congratulations. And I'll see you out there at the Grove. Thank you for making the time. I know you're thrashing.
Yeah, we're still working right now. We're getting ready to leave. So thank you, buddy.
All right. Talk soon. There he goes. Wilkerson.
Bye.
Tim Wilkerson, funny car winner out there at the U.S. Nationals. And that is amazing. And I feel like terrible that I'm telling a 4-time Pro Stock champ, like, hang on the line, Erica. We got Wilk calling in. But it was an amazing, and he's just like that. They're thrashing. They only have one body. Can you believe that?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And the idea that they got down the racetrack and 9 runner-ups in a row, like, that's the kind of thing that will make a driver insane. I don't know that you've ever experienced 9 runner-ups. Have you, Erica? She's not hearing.
Experienced 7 years of losing before we finally won one.
Right. And that weighs on you. That's the kind of thing. But you've emerged beyond that, though. And now, like we were talking about the final round 3 years ago, it sounds like you're thinking, man, I was this close to winning Indy 3 times in a row.
We definitely were. We had the car to win, and I had the reaction time to win. I was 00, and Alex was 120 something. So it just wasn't meant to be our day. We had a transmission failure, second gear failure, and I was able to get through it and get onto third gear and get the car down the track, but still wasn't able to get there first. So again, one of the most heartbreaking, just make you physically ill losses in my career, but we've had so much success since then. We went on to win the 19 World Championship and a handful of races in 2020, as well as that championship. And, hopefully we're well on our way to contend for our 5th this year.
Yes. And I want to look ahead, but I want to think about some of this round by round stuff. You were not on the easy side of the ladder, as if there is such a thing. But even Bruno, first round, Bruno went at your throat, 001. He got crossed up and had to lift. You got to go up against Hartford, who's had your number as of late, get around him on a red light. Then Greg Anderson, who was driving very well. Let's pick it up right there, the run against GA, because he came to play.
He definitely did. And we had that conversation at the end of the racetrack. I wasn't sure what happened to him. As you know, a lot of the teams out there fought the right lane on Sunday. The guys did the best that they could with the racetrack, and it was able to get a little bit better as the day progressed. But I think we won lane choice against Greg by 1,000th of a second. So we're very fortunate to be in the left lane as he came to play. Like you mentioned, I think he was 009. And I don't guess I was on my A game that day, because when have you ever seen me drag a 30 up there against him? So we were fortunate to get by there, and I made some changes on the race car just because I felt behind in the reaction time department going to the finals. So that was definitely the most crucial round win of the day, was getting by Greg. I felt like if we could beat him, that the race was ours to lose at that point. And then we went on to lose lane choice for the final round. But thankfully, my crew chief, Mark Ingersoll, and Tim Freeman and Mike DePalma, they had it under wraps over there. He had all the confidence in the world in his voice, as I mentioned on the Fox broadcast on Sunday. And that in turn gave me confidence. He said that he was not at all worried about the shake zone in the right lane. We would get right through it. And we definitely did that. So it was a very interesting day. Again, not a pretty win, but any win is a great win.
Talk a little bit about the red lights and how it affects the psychology. Like, you didn't go red, but it was a lot of red lights going on. And it's weird, as if they multiply, right? Like, there's one, it's like, all right, but then there's two. And it's like, what's up with that? And then there's four, and people are going red left and right. Like, why is this happening? Is it just because of the big go? And it was just a crazy first couple of rounds in the naturally aspirated categories. Were you keeping track of that?
Yeah, it definitely was. We were 8th pair. We ran last during the first round of elimination. So I was able to watch my teammates go. Aaron Stanfield went red, which was a big surprise. He's getting better and better and winning races and running right at the top for the championship. So I found that to be surprising. And then when TJ went red, I was like, man, what's going on? I don't really read too much into Kenny Delco and the quadras and all of that, because they were so far red that it wasn't like they're just missing it by a few thousandths, like 80 red and 50 red and whatever. You're just flat out missing it. So Aaron said he met it coming on. TJ kind of cheated the clutch pedal a little bit, meaning that it just kind of floated, and that's why the car shook right after he left. But watching all of that happen in front of you, it's definitely hard to put it out of your head. I slowed my clutch pedal down going into Sunday, because I was 23, I think, on our only qualifying shot. And that was at night. I felt like the lights were tight. A lot of our sportsman friends were having really good reaction times and having to run a lot of delay in their delay boxes. So, all of that goes into account. And when you don't have 3 cracks at the tree, and I don't have all of that data and time to mess around with my clutch linkage, you're kind of going into Sunday blind, but at the same time, so is everybody else. You just have to be better than the rest of them. So to answer your question, it definitely weighs on you. I kind of just went up there and didn't try to get in the tree. I just kind of looked in the direction of it. And I think it was 40 first round. And, again, struggled all day long. Lucky to get by Matt when he went red, Greg when he was 009. So the only round that I did even halfway decent was the finals. So
sometimes you make your own luck, and the cosmic forces, the racing gods, going back to the 3 finals ago at the U.S. Nationals, it owed you some. And you won again, right? In the media center, you kind of really let it all out there, just about how hard and challenging it is to drive one of these cars. And as you rack up these amazing stats and wins and championships, you and Greg are on that drive for 5. We've been having a little fun with that, but it just the difficulty of driving a pro stock car well, not taking anything away from Caps and Wilkerson and those guys. They're controlling the machine. It's going a lot faster, but the precision, like what you just said about Aaron anticipating the tree, about TJ, cheating on the clutch, all of these things have to be done absolutely perfect, or you can't even bother to compete. And you're navigating all of that stuff. You now won the U.S. Nationals. Can you elaborate a little bit on that for our fans who, I just know that there's some of them that don't appreciate the nuance that's going on in pro stock when you guys roll out?
Yeah, it's definitely the most challenging race car that I've ever driven. And I've driven a lot of different stuff, from pro mods to getting my license in an alcohol funny car, super comp, super gas, top dragster. I mean, comp eliminator, you go down the list. I've driven, I think I'm licensed in 11 or 12 different categories. So it is definitely challenging. I mean, it's a clutch car with a 5-speed Liberty, and you said the word precision. I think that summarizes it pretty perfectly. You have to be extremely consistent in what you're doing. And I feel like a lot of people don't really know what all goes into it. You try to, you pull into the water, you try to, nail your burnout. You have to hit your spot, like where the person in front of you is marking it, because there's rosin that's down, and you want to hit your mark where your tires are going to be for when you're staged. The burnout is very tedious. You can't have the engine RPM too high, but you can't have it too low where you drag the clutch out of it and stick the tire. So that part is all about finesse. Listening to your crew chiefs, backing up, getting right in the groove, staging as shallow as possible all of the time. You see a lot of drivers up there that throw it in, and that's fine and dandy because they're trying to put a pretty number on the time slip, and it takes away from your real estate for the quarter of a mile, but it also takes away from your reaction time. So it makes your reaction time look better. Well, when you're betting your life on thousandths of a second, like we are, I try to be as shallow as possible, so I'm not risking going red. So there's all kinds of things that go into that. Then having to, keep the car in the groove, hit your shift points as perfectly as possible, and that is even more crucial now with the 10,500 RPM rev limiter. Like whereas before, when we had no rev limiter, it wasn't that big of a deal if you over revved at 100 RPM. Like now, you go on the chip, it drops the G meter, and everything is screwed up after that. So it's just it's a lot that goes into it, and it's a very hard car to drive. And I've been doing it for 17 years now, and people that come in and just drive a few weeks a year and, get frustrated with their performance. Like, look, we all screw up every week, and we do it all of the time. So it's definitely hard. It's a challenging car, but that's what makes it fun for me, because I feel like there's still more to learn. There's still more to do every single time.
No, that's great. So, Courtney put something up about lucky underwear. And people are asking about it. I saw the first 40, first bit of it, and I had to move along. What's that about?
So dating way back, we had this deal where we had our lucky race day underwear, and they were always red in color. So then our crew members started to get on board with it. And now she does this britches check every Sunday morning on Facebook Live, where she goes around to all the crew members, and not just on Team Red, on Jegs, the Jegs.com car that TJ drives, on Aaron Stanfield's car. Like, we all have just a little bit of superstition that happens. So she does this underwear check every Sunday morning. And now it's so funny because I have fans that come by the pit, and they pull out their waistband or their pants, and they show me that they're wearing red underwear as well. So it's kind of catching on, and it's actually really comical. But there's you talk to a lot of different drivers and crew members. There's actually a lot of superstition that happens on race day. You want to do everything the same every time, especially on the weekends that you win. And it's pretty interesting. Courtney was saying how funny it was that, the drive the bitch back thing caught on so awesome, and now everybody's doing this britches check on Sunday.
And it's never more important than in the countdown. You just won the U.S. Nationals. If I know racers at all, been there, done that, right? We won it. It's over. Move ahead. What lies ahead? The countdown championship, the Drive for 5 to win that. And so, are you encouraging all your fans? Are they expected to wear the red britches? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, if you got lucky red britches, please put them on every Sunday.
Every Sunday race day when Pro Stock is running during the countdown, rock the red britches, people. And there you go. Okay, let's look ahead to the Grove, and the points are totally reset. You gained points on the lead. Everybody is very compressed. I can't begin to handicap this deal because I feel like you've been so strong all year long. Greg has been started off strong, but just like bumping up against this 97 win thing, and it's got him stymied, but he's got a fast car. So anything can happen at any moment. He could just break out. But I think about Kyle Koretsky. We talked a little bit about the final. This kid is a young, up-and-coming star. He's got a fast car. He's a competitor. You mentioned Aaron. All these guys, like anything can happen. So how are you going into this final run to make sure you're the one with the championship?
Well, we got to go into it with a positive attitude, expecting to win and settling for nothing less. I mean, we talk about how hard this car is to drive, right? And how physically demanding it is, but it's really mentally demanding as well. So my goal is to just make every single round count. Not that we haven't earlier on in the season, but leading up to Indy, I mean, it's just been mediocre. Yeah, Elite Motorsports has been parking cars in the winner's circle all season long, but I feel like we've just been doing a lot of developmental stuff and R&D and trying to figure out, like, from intake manifolds to clutch packages to, you know, whatever. We've been experimenting all year, and we don't do a whole lot of testing. So we try new stuff at the races during qualifying, sometimes in elimination rounds. So all season long, we've been trying to put together a package that we're going to run in the countdown. And we definitely have figured all of that out. And I feel like in years past as well, we don't really perform all of that trick during the regular season. Like, yeah, we win sometimes or whatever, but it's the countdown when it really matters. And my guys come out swinging every single time. Somehow I'm able to perform under pressure in these crazy situations. So collectively, the countdown is our time to shine. Now, that's not taking away from anyone else, because they're going to do their best to take us off of that top spot. But we have our work cut out for us. There's no doubt. I have some tremendous drivers under our camp with Aaron Stanfield and TJ Coughlin. I believe Bob Benza and Vincent Nobile are both running with us this weekend. Vincent came back and ran with us in Atlanta earlier this year and went to the finals in our rental car. So he's capable of anything too. So it'll be nice to have them come out and be blockers for us during this countdown. And we're just going to do the best that we can. It's going to take a really stable mind and definitely a lot of confidence and strong will and all of the things, but we have to play with all the heart that we have. And it's going to be a really crucial, excruciating, crazy, 6 races, with 3 of them being in a row: Reading, Charlotte, and St. Louis. So all of these tracks have been good to us in the past, with the exception to Reading. Charlotte, St. Louis, we've won the last few years in a row. Dallas, we've won. Vegas is just unbelievable to us and our team. So I have a lot of confidence heading into the countdown. It's definitely going to be tough, and I'm ready to go for the 5th.
Wow, that's awesome. You mentioned Vincent, recently engaged, got a lot of good energy going on over there. I wonder, and this is kind of like get into the mind of the strategy. Like, there are conversations that you guys have at Elite that are you're planning how you're going to handle certain situations, like all the testing you've been talking about, trying new parts, new pieces. And we don't really necessarily know what worked, what didn't work, when you tried it, what you tried. But throughout this process, you figured out like what gives you the best chance in each place. And you guys know what you're about to roll out and where. My question is, if things don't go as you're planning right away, that doesn't mean you've lost the countdown. Are there contingency plans? Like, can you, like a first round out for anybody doesn't mean you've lost the countdown, but it does put you behind and you have to like double down and rally back. So like, how have you thought about the way the countdown could go, and what have you prepared for?
Well, again, I feel like we win races when we leave the shop, how prepared we are, what we're expecting. And it's all about having that positive mental attitude and expecting nothing but greatness. I can't go out and race scared. I'm not going to go out and try to not lose. I'm going to these races to win. I'm not going out there to try to not lose, if that makes sense. It means the same thing, right? But you're racing with a different plan and a different mentality. You cannot be scared of it. And that is definitely my plan. And I'm counting on our experience in the past, all of the data that my crew chiefs have acquired over the last 20 and 30 years that they've been racing. And especially here at Elite Motorsports for the last 8 years that I've been here, we have books and books and books of data, and I have the best guys in the world. So I'm counting on our experience. I'm counting on all of the things that I've learned in the past, the areas that I have struggled in and messed up on. I've done my best to get past those and to be an expert in those areas and to actually want those situations to happen instead of being afraid of them happening. So I feel like that there's nothing that will catch me off guard. I feel like I'm a very confident, adequate driver in the cockpit, and I feel like we will do the very best that we can. The book has already been written, as my team owner always says. We just got to go out and execute the best that we can. Adequate.
That's how you describe yourself. I'm adequate. Yeah, you're more than adequate. Stood on the stage with Leah out there in Sonoma, and I asked, who's the GOAT, right? Who's the GOAT? And she said you were the GOAT. Someone asked you a question in the media center, something that I'd been thinking about pretty recently, and then somebody else brought it up, and I want to ask you about it. You're such a leader for so many young girls out there, from the Right on Track movie till right now, but pro stock in particular, as you're still the only lady racer out there, and you're dominant, you're winning championships. Like I would have thought that someone would want to be like Erica and go and race with and against Erica. And it's confusing to me that there's no young lady racers out there like following directly in your footsteps. They go in the nitro or a fuel or, all over the place, but not pro stock. And to me, I'm wondering why. And I think it's because it's extremely super challenging and hard and nearly impossible to be successful. But like, have you thought about that? Like, hey man, like there's ladies everywhere and they all mention me and they're not racing against me. What's up with that?
I don't really know. I mean, there's been a handful of them that have tried. And again, I don't want to make it sound like unwelcoming, but it's a really tough deal. Like, and it's not just physically tough. Again, like you have to be pretty strong because you're shifting these cars. Like it's straight up metal on metal, right? You got to shift with all of your might. The clutch pedal is pretty hard. You can mess with the linkage to make it easier. But when you get in like a situation like Bruno and Mason a few weeks ago, or me and Matt in Dallas a few years ago, like the clutch pedal is challenging to push in, right? I don't really know why they haven't, but the part of it that is more challenging than actually the physical part is what you have to put up with, what you have to deal with. There's a lot of people that will do whatever they can to stand in your way, from messing with your car, people on your own crew, not where I'm at now, but to do anything to see you fail, to make up rumors about you for the reasons that you are where you are, or the crap that you have to listen to on the internet. It's just like, there's a whole bunch of cowards out there and extremely unintelligent people that will do whatever they can to take you off the top. And you have to be able to have the heart to get through that stuff. And it's not easy and it's not fun. There have been a lot of days along the way that I wanted to hang it up, and I said, I'm educated. I can go make way more money doing something else, but it'll never be my passion like this. A little side note, I crashed a car in testing in 2004 when I was learning how to drive one of these cars. And I was a little, as any driver would be after they crash, like just a little timid to get back in it. And I remember my dad saying, we don't have to do this. You can go back to school and be anything you want to be. And I said, give me my helmet, because this is what I want to do. So there have been a ton of hurdles, and any successful person in any field that they become successful in have a lot of valleys, a lot of hurdles, a lot of people that stand in their way and try to tear you down. But you just have to decide inside of yourself that this is what you want, and you deal with it and you get through it. So in my opinion, those are the more challenging parts of it, or aspects of it, rather than just the physical part in the cockpit. So you got to be mentally tough. You got to have some thick skin. And that's not something that I started this game out with. So, and I'm still actually working on that. Like I've gotten to the point where, I'm 37 years old, right? I've been drag racing for 30 years and 17 in pro stock. And I've gotten to the point where I wouldn't say crap with a mouthful to, I'll fly your ass out here. Come see if you can do it, if you think it's so easy. So it definitely makes you tougher. I definitely see, the Shirley Muldowney mentality and the Angel mentality, two women who are extremely successful and who I admire greatly, but they're tough for a reason. And they're tough because they had to deal with the stuff that all the females deal with. So it's just interesting, but I feel like that's the toughest part. And that's probably why you don't see a lot of them.
Well, it is. Like, I think of Shirley all the time, like, because, and for folks out there that don't know, Erica is like, we get to talk at the track, and I'm interested in a lot of the different stories that go down, but frankly, I can't believe a lot of them, right? Like, what? because I'm not in the position to ever have to deal with anything like what Erica has to deal with. And she'll relay a story and I'll think about like, wow, that's crazy. It's 2021. I can't believe like that is even happening. And then I think about Shirley going through this in the 60s when like people were not nearly as evolved or, you know, like it was brutal. And it makes me impressed by the will and the desire that you guys have shown to do what you do. Because frankly, I wouldn't deal with a lot of that. I might go find something else to do. Like what? But then that Shirley was able to go through all of that and make it out the other side and still be a mentor to so many people. It's just a shame, you know, it's a shame. But I feel like we're getting better. We as a sport, as a fan base, as humanity, but you know, sometimes it looks like maybe we're not.
Yeah, and my dad always says this, no matter what you do, no matter what you decide to do for a living, it's always going to come with some sort of pile. And you just got to be strong enough and be smart enough to be able to get through it. And I don't want to sound like we're complaining or I'm complaining at all, because I've learned how to deal with it. And the bottom line is people need to learn to be kind again. Like it's not the way like you learned it in vacation Bible school, like treat others the way you want to be treated. They forget that even though we're just seen through a TV screen, that we're still real people. We still have worked hard to get here and we still have feelings. So, but they can figure that out, I guess.
Yes, well, exactly. Or they won't, right? I was just talking about this on the earlier show about just, posting misinformation in Factory Showdown about NHRA wanting to kick Fords out of the event because they don't like Ford, like just dumb stuff. Like, why are you doing that? But it's consider the source, right? Consider the source. What's going on with that person in their life that this is what they want to do, instead of watching great racing, excellent competition, greats of all time, Greg Anderson, Erica Enders, battling all year long. We've got all these other players, so many great, interesting things happening. To me, that's what is awesome about what's about to happen. Like everything that we just witnessed is prologue to what we're about to see. This countdown for you guys deciding the championship, and it sounds like your team is hitting on all 8 right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we are. And again, I mentioned earlier that it comes to this point every year where you see us struggle a little bit and don't perform up to our expectations, our own expectations. And now we're to the point in the season where we always excel. And my crew chief, Mark Ingersoll, told me that on the phone the other day. And after our win in Indy, like this is our time. This is where we shine. So we're definitely hitting on all 8. We're feeling very positive. We're feeling very optimistic, and we're definitely excited.
That is awesome. Erica, is there anything you want to say to your fans out there as you get ready for this run, the countdown, the reset, the pressure, the whatever you want to call it, the excitement, the anxiety? Is there anything you want your fan base to know out there?
I want them to know how much I love them and I appreciate them. These people go to battle for me on the internet, and 99 bazillion% of the time, it's all positive. And after our win at the U.S. Nationals, I heard a blip from Tim Wilkerson. I mean, I got back to the trailer as well, and I had hundreds and hundreds of text messages, which I'm still working through right now, and just thousands of notes and comments and likes and hundreds of thousands of views on our videos on the internet. So I so appreciate the support and the positivity and their willingness to go to bat for me when there are some just a few naysayers out there. So it means the world to me. I thank y'all for your support. We're going to do our very best. I promise you, every time we go up there, we are trying our guts out to make y'all proud.
That's awesome. And you got to my text message just like an hour ago, and that's why we're on. You're like, hey, I'm ready. And it's like, hey, let's do it. And we did. I was bummed that we weren't going to get to speak with you before Maple Grove, because I know you travel tomorrow. I travel tomorrow. We're going again. We're 3 in a row. It's going to be tough. And you made this happen. So I appreciate you. And me putting you on hold, I felt so terrible about that. But, you know, Wilk is running around, and I think we're all fans of Wilk, right?
Oh, heck yeah. If y'all don't know him, he's an amazing guy, salt of the earth. Him and his wife and his daughter and his son, they're just they're great people. So it was really exciting to see him win. When we were under the arch, the U.S. Nationals arch, I was getting buckled in my car, and Steve Torrance stuck his head in the cockpit. and shared a few encouraging words with me that definitely helped me. So it was really cool to be able to win that race with him as two Texas kids growing up racing together, him overcoming his challenges with cancer and just kicking the crap out of it and going on to be a bazillion-time top fuel winner and a multiple-time world champion. We've been able to park it in the winner's circle a lot together through our professional careers, and as two 16-year-old kids riding in a dually and a gooseneck trailer with super comp dragsters loaded up, going bracket racing. We made it, and it's so crazy because we talked about these dreams along the way. So everybody out there has a story, and it's so neat that I've been able to do that alongside of one of my very best friends with Steve. So that was cool that, I was kind of down in the dumps as we talked about my rounds, how they went, not being stellar on the Christmas tree and just kind of struggling mentally through the day. And the words that he shared with me before the race, definitely pumped me up and made me rise to the occasion for the final. So that was really cool.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up, because I don't know that anybody really knows or thinks about that, right? Like Steve, he just kind of fell out of the sky onto the sport, and now they're kicking butt and everything. But Steve's been around a long time. You knew Steve as kids. You just told us that story. When you look at Torrance, okay, you're Erica and you've won 4 world championships. What do you make about what he's put together? Is it not insane that he's going on this incredible run in top fuel, just dominant against guys like Antron, dominant across the board, just winning nonstop, the team, the family, the whole thing. You described this great, if you're a bracket racer, what you described, hit home with me, except it's you and Steve Torrance, right? How many wins, how many championships between those two? You have made it, but what was it like? What do you think about what Steve is doing?
I think it's unbelievable. And, there's no really other way to describe it than it's a dream come true for both of us. We were just two kids from Texas, right? And we would, ask our dads to the keys to the rig, and we'd go head out and go racing from Hallsville, Texas to St. Louis to Indy to wherever. And, he won NHRA Sportsman Rookie of the Year in 1999, and I won it the following year in 2000. And in between that year span is when he got really sick, and, he didn't have a great prognosis, and he beat it. He beat all the odds. He's a miracle kid, and he's gone on to do such spectacular things, and he made his dreams come true as well. And, I think a lot of the racers out there get that, from Brittany and Courtney Forrest to myself to Alexis DeJoria to Steve Torrance to, you go down the list, even now, Kyle Koretsky and TJ Coughlin and Aaron Stanfield. These are all people that have worked their entire lives to get to this point, but you kind of get this little stigma put on you, oh, it's just daddy's money, and the only reason they're out there doing this is because they're rich kids. Well, no, that's not how it works. We've all had to go out and find some money and do some really hard work to get behind the wheel of these cars, and then on top of that, have success on the racetrack. So I think it's great. I think it's really fun to be part of such a great group of the younger generation that has taken it from a junior dragster or from super comp and super gas all the way to the pro level. So it's pretty neat, and I'm proud of Steve-O and the rest of us. It was talked about a lot growing up, right? This is where we want to be, and we're here.
And you're here, and you made it, and now you're fighting for championships alongside one another, and who knows how it's all going to go. People are talking about him sweeping the countdown again, 7 races. One thing I don't think is going to happen in Pro Stock, because it's so close and so tight. Erica, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You made this happen today, everybody. Erica made this happen. I'll see you this weekend at the Grove. Supposedly it's going to be beautiful. I'm excited about this. This is NHRA playoffs. If you love this sport, now is the time to get engaged, and I'm really excited about what's about to go down. So thank you.
Me too, Joe. Thank you all so much for always having me on and having such great questions. And I look forward to seeing you at Reading and Charlotte and St. Louis, and we'll see you in the next 3 weeks. We'll know exactly where we stand.
Yeah, we're going to know a lot in 3 weeks, right? All the fans out there, make your predictions. Erica, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Take care. There she goes, Erica Enders, the champ in the Camping World Series Pro Stock. And man, you've seen me doing a lot of this on the show today. And Erica, hey, it's not too late. She made it happen. And, Wilk comes on, and there's this whole like pro stock nitro thing. And I really believe and want to elevate. Like, I think pro stock is equal to Top Fuel and Funny Car. I think they're equal because it's not the same sport when pro stock isn't there. But then when I got to put Eric on hold to get Tim on the phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being a jerk here. And nope, totally cool as can be. Super humble, going out there, winning races, getting it done. Where's it going to go, though? What's going to happen? What lies ahead? Who's going to hoist the Wally at the end of it all? Who's going to be the champ? It could go any direction. It could be Greg Anderson. It could be Erica. It could be Hartford. It could be Stanfield. It could be any one of those drivers. And skill, talent, ability, lucky breaks going to factor in. Who catches a break here and there? I have no idea. Who gets taken out by the part-time driver, right? Like with, whether it be Bruno or she mentioned Vincent, like which of the hitters running for the championship is going to get taken out by the guy out there chasing his dreams for that one race in a fast car? Going to be awesome to watch. I am super excited about it. And that's all going down this weekend. And so we'll see you all in the Grove. All right, everybody. Final thoughts in the comment section. Who won the Patreon results? Where is that? The Patreon results. We made picks, all our Patreons, the people who pay for the show, right? We did make picks, and I think everybody won but me. No, like, here's the deal. Starting off with Pro Stock Motorcycle. Sue Morris picked Eddie Krawick. She was the only one. Everybody else lost. So congratulations, Sue Morris. You are the winner in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Sue also picked Erica. Sue is the only person to pick Erica. And so Sue Morris is 2 for 2 in our picks of the Patreons. Let's see. In Funny Car, imagine that. Nobody had Wilk. I had Caps. Gio had Caps. Yeah, nobody had Wilk. We missed on that one. And in Top Fuel, Monica had Steve Torrance. Only one of us picked Steve Torrance. I was trying to be avant-garde. I went Justin Ashley. That was not the right pick. Thank you, Justin. Good. I was feeling something. It didn't work out. I always try to go with the energy. Monica took Steve Torrance and got it. A lot of people, Brittany was the consensus pick. So there you go. And thank you, Derek, for bringing up our Patreon picks. And if you were a Patreon, you would have gotten to make picks. Everybody that was listening live. Let's see. Sammy. Great stuff, Joe. And look at Sammy's photograph there. That is a fantastic photo. Like, I don't always get to see the photos of what happens at the pre-race ceremony. That one's a great one. Thank you for posting that, Sammy. Blake says, good luck to Erica. And one of Steve's cars would be a really big deal. Though, guys, like, why are we always trying to push Erica into the nitro cars? It's big doing what she's doing. That's the thing. This false dichotomy of pro stock is like not quite what the nitro cars are. No, it's a different thing. That's why Robert Height said he wants to drive a pro stock car. Like, how about we get Robert Height to run a pro stock car, right? Because it's a totally different challenge. All right. I'm going to say thanks to the sponsors, and then you guys are going to post your final comments in the comment section. This thing has got everybody angry. I don't know why, but good job, Steve Brenwald, for creating it. And patreon.com/WFO Radio. If you want to pay for the show and get nothing special for it, that's for you. Right. No, you get Monday motivation. You get to be part of our advisory board. Once you reach your threshold, you get swag. But most importantly, you get to know the secret stuff. To me, that's worth it. And you're supporting WFO. Like, come on. After all is said and done, that's what matters most. Our great friend down there at Torque Calibration Services started out as a Patreon, became a sponsor. If you're down in Australia, Torque Calibration Services.com.au. All the most well-known torque wrenches, they service them and put them right on the money, which is very important. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com, Total Seal, piston rings. She's talking about the burn down with Hartford and the muscular strength required to just hold the clutch in. You might not think about it, but like, just take a sheet of paper and just hold the paper out in front of you. You should be able to do that forever, right? Because you're strong. You're just going to hold the sheet of paper out in front of you for, a minute. Anybody should be able to do that, right? Yeah. No. It's tough. It's tough. So imagine pushing in that clutch for 3 minutes, where if you are weak, the car's going to lurch and shut off and you're going to look like a fool. There's a lot of layers to this that most people don't even think about. And physical strength and stamina is a big part of it. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Shout out to Brian Massengill and everybody down there. And, of course, Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com, the hot sauces and the spice rubs. And Marvin creating specialty blends of coffee. Amazing stuff. Marvin might create a specialty blend of coffee for you out there. Like if you have a business or if you've got something you want a specialty blend, he could create your own blend for you. Give him a call, 817-924-6821. Super happy about the card that AJ gave me. And let's see what everybody else has to say. WFO face coverings, they're a thing. They're back again. Face covering, guys. All right, let's see what everyone's got to say, and then we're out of here. Headed to Maple Grove. Got everybody but Steve-O in. But Steve-O was discussed at great length by Erica, and I think we got some great notes about Steve Torrance. And I think that's great. Dugenet was one of our listeners last night on American Hot Rod Entertainment, where we broke down all the sportsman races. I've heard the clutch feels like it's trying to throw your leg back. Yes, and I have had that experience. Like I can tell you that my limited experience starting the Total Seal Pro Stocker taught me so much about what it feels like to drive a Pro Stock car. And I didn't even do anything. It's pushing you back. It's fighting back against you. The whole car is not just a car where you're doing stuff. It's fighting back against you. And you have to overpower it, but not too much, because then, you're going to be late. So if I was ever going to drive a Pro Stock car, I would have to immediately go to the gym and start working out on the legs. It would be like leg day all the time. Thanks, show. Great show. Thank you, Jim. Robert would do great in a Pro Stocker. I wonder. I have no doubt that Robert Hyde is a great talent and ability, but I do wonder how some of these nitro drivers would do in a Pro Stocker. And I'm not saying that can't drive. That's not it at all. I think it would be a very exciting and interesting exercise to see how it went. And failures would happen, but they would ultimately get it because they're very talented. But it would be interesting to see. Safe travels to PA. Is there a discount code for Nitrofish? I believe there still is. WFO is the Nitrofish discount code. I don't know if it's still active, though. You're going to have to try it. Type in WFO at checkout. Get yourself the 10th anniversary t-shirt. Oh, look, it's the captain.
Educating me, about the history of the game.
Derek Jeter getting inducted into the Hall of Fame right now because last year he couldn't get in because of the COVID deal. We're having it now, middle of the week. The captain, Jeter. Amazing stuff. Pro Stock is absolutely the toughest of all the classes to be great at. I tend to believe that as well. I think that the driver just has more input, and it's not a this or that kind of deal. It's just the nitro driver can mess it up by not driving well. But the Pro Stock driver must drive well if they're going to win. You can't miss the shift. You can't be late. You can't muff the burnout. There's so many pitfalls in front of the Pro Stock driver. And you're 00, you're winning, but you missed your shift, you're losing, right? In a nitro car, like if you drive it out of the groove or something like that. But if the nitro driver does his job, and then the car does its job, you're going to be in the mix. Does that make sense without disrespecting anybody? This was another great show. My mom is upset because she missed Tim Wilkerson. Oh my gosh. Wilk, listen, he'll win another race and he won't be on the phone line. Like I talked to Wilk, they're thrashing down there, and to have him at all to take 5 minutes, I didn't want to keep him for any longer. Hopefully you guys understand that it was just, didn't want to be that guy. He made time for us. We're going to take him for the smallest amount of time as possible and let him get back there. He answered all the important questions. You heard from Wilk. Ashley and the points this weekend. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Joe. How do you become a Patreon? You go to patreon.com/WFO Radio, or you can go to our website, WFOradio.com, and click on the banner ad that says Become a Patreon. And then you see there are some options. There are tiers. where you can go full tier and support at a crazy level, depending on your disposable income that you want to throw away on this, or you can do it for $5 and everybody gets the same thing. It's really about how much you love the show and how much you can handle. The highest level, I'm sure they get something deep down psychologically, right? But I didn't feel like I wanted to segment the audience, which the people who are helping us and the people that are helping us extremely. That's up to you and what you feel about the show. And I didn't even want to do this Patreon thing to begin with. And guess what? It's a huge help and I love them. The advisory board, where the day that I've got a big problem or big news, they'll be the first to know about it. Great shows today, Monica. Thank you, Monica. Does GA's car still sound different, as you mentioned earlier in the year? The answer is yes. Greg Anderson's car still sounds different. I have been noticing, though, some other cars with a similar tone. I kind of feel weird talking about it because I feel like it might be revealing some sort of secret. I remember when they first broke out the swept back headers, I was very proud of myself because I noticed right away, but I didn't notice what I was noticing, if that makes sense to you. Like something's different, but I'm not sure what. And I'm just staring and I'm staring. I'm like, ah. And as it began to like play out what it was, I noticed something, but I didn't really notice exactly what it was. So I was kind of like on it, but not exactly. But that's the way I feel about listening to the tone of some of these pro stockers. Somebody sounds a little different. Why? What's up with that? Well, exhaust system, something in there, but I don't know exactly. And haven't been able to figure it out. And, if someone's got a secret out there, it's not my job to reveal it. Like I almost ruined the whole Linda Vaughn, Krista Baldwin, Katie Butera thing. That close to ruining the surprise party. But I didn't, which is what is most important. Close only hand, horseshoes and hand grenades. You guys don't want to hear that story. The best show of the year, Joe. Yes, that's right, Jay. This one was rough, right? But it was thrown together. And we have Erica Enders and Tim Wilkerson. So if you liked this, like the show, follow on all our social. Jim says, thanks. I joined today. Full shot. Thank you. Hey, thank you very much. All right. And that's going to do it. Thank you very much, everybody. All right. I'll tell you the story, Linda Vaughn. Katie Butera, right? Legacy name in the sport of drag racing. Great friends with Krista. And not just that, but like part of the team and the family. Reaches out to Brian and I on the Twitter to be on the lookout for something big happening at Q1 at the Big Go. And so what's that mean? She alluded to the fact that she's going to be a backup girl, which she does on a regular basis, but something related to another historic woman pioneer in drag racing, and mentioned the color gold. So that tipped me off. I said, it's something to do with Linda Vaughn. So I'm out there, and Miss Hurst, Linda Vaughn, and I'm out there and I'm thinking, like, at that point, like, okay, what could it be? But then as time went by, it was revealed, or I figured out, or somebody, that Katie is going to be wearing one of Linda's original Miss Hurst costumes, outfits that somehow somebody came across. And so me being, not good at this, assumed that Linda was in on it, because nobody told me it was a surprise for Linda, except it was. And so just as it's like going down, I'm like trying to get the note to figure out, like, I want to make sure Reinhardt knows about it. I want to make sure, like we pointed out to NHRA.tv, I want to make sure that this moment doesn't slip by. And so I'm going to ask Linda about it. Big mistake. Big mistake. She didn't know about it. So just as I'm going over there to like get the note about the gold Hearst outfit that Katie's going to wear, like what did Linda give it to her? The surprise is happening. And I was a millisecond away from destroying it, but I didn't. And Katie said it went perfect, and it was perfect, and everything was perfect. And she goes out there and backed up Krista, and Linda was totally surprised. And an epic, unbelievable U.S. Nationals moment was created by the people behind Krista's team. And that, I think, is where I want to leave this off, is that every time you see Krista Baldwin on the racetrack, or maybe you've got a big corporation and you've got a business and you're looking for someone to sponsor. Wow. Like put them right at the top of your list, Krista, because they treat this thing like, and don't, get at me for saying the wrong thing here, like religion. Like this is so important to them, and they love it and they respect it and they want to grow it and they want to live it and they want to do it for the rest of their lives like their, grandparents did. And they are working so hard to respect it, drag racing, and they need a little help. Not a little, they don't have their own multi-million-dollar successful business that they have put together just yet. They're drag racing kids, and they're working really hard to do it. But that moment, like all the effort that went in, and there's a whole story, and I was fortunate that Katie told me after the race was over, but like doing it for the love, think about that. It's they're all out on it. They're WFO with the way they're respecting this sport. And I felt like that was just a great moment. And I was happy that I did not totally ruin it, because that would have been the kind of thing that would have been very upsetting for a long time. Like I hold myself to a higher standard, and ruining a surprise party is not something I've ever done just yet. Let's see. Damon says, Linda got in an elevator with a friend and I at the hotel. Ah, there you go. At a hotel, not the hotel, not an Indy, because you weren't in Indy, Fleetree. Because if you were and you didn't tell us, that would be a bummer. No, Linda is fantastic. And I did the Larry Morgan Celebrity Roast a couple of years back with her. I think that's DVD is still available. Amazing what she's seen and what she's done. So there you go. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. I'm out. Heading to Maple Grove, Reading, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area, I'll say it like I always say. Go to the track. Go to the track. Set your DVR for Fox Sports 1 this weekend. Be ready. Don't miss any of the shows. It's going to be great. Very excited. And 20 years ago, of course, 20 years ago. But this is it. The playoffs are on. It's on. Is Steve-O going to sweep the countdown? A 7-race countdown. If that were to happen, it would be the greatest single accomplishment in drag racing, and I think it would vault Steve to the top of the greatest of all time lists, even in spite of his, I don't know. I don't want to say that. He would be in the conversation, because that would be sick and twisted to sweep the countdown. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Brittany Force is going to get her share of wins. Pro Stock, Erica, Greg, all the others, anything could happen. Funny car, totally wide open. I think Caps, this might have motivated those guys. They are the points leader going into the countdown. They just got punched in the teeth in the final round of the U.S. Nationals. That can be a motivator. So we'll see. And Pro Stock Motorcycle, I still think Matt Smith is the guy. Eddie Krawick coming on, but Matt has been very consistent, and I also agree. It's not all roses, right? He just got humbled a little bit. I think Matt Smith is going to work harder and go out there and bring it. But we'll find out. We'll find out this weekend. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Check out the archive. Help share the word of WFO. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.